anyway, I had to do today's video because I wanted to respond to two comments. BA or ByBird08 and also Veronica Moore. Shout out to you, Veronica. I feel you've been on this channel for some time, I think. That name sounds familiar. But the two of you in particular are comments that I'm looking at based on the last video I did. And so I wanted to comment on that. The last video that I did talked about the casualties of war as it related to the hair color and the deliberate opening of my ends and the keeping the ends open on some of the locks. Are you tired of struggling with hair growth and thinning strands? Release the magic in your locks and tresses with I Am Melanin Magic hair oils. A premium blend of all natural ingredients strengthens, restores, and revitalizes your hair for maximum health and growth. Don't let thinning hair
straightened hair
brand. Upgrade your hair care game today.
So are you.
I Am Melanin Magic hair oil. Hello, beautiful butterflies and perfect people. You're with Tanisha Ali of I Am Melanin Magic and also the channel Tanisha's Locks Beauty Tips and a potpourri. For those of you who took advantage of the I Am Melanin Magic sale, your orders are going out. For those of you who missed it because I didn't do a good job of publicizing it beforehand, I'm going to run it through the 15th. Okay, because some of you may have missed it, and I will send out one additional email for those of you who are not even on YouTube. This sale just requires that you purchase anything over $80 and above as your total, including everything, and you will be shipped out the travel size of the premium oil, okay? Again, purchases of $80 or more will result in you being shipped out the travel size of the premium oil, which is the first oil that was ever shared with the channel. It's the oil that you remember me telling you I have been using since probably the first year of having my locks, and it resulted in the strength and the integrity of my locks, and actually is what I feel has kept them fortified no matter what I seem to be doing with my hair. It is keeping my roots strong. It makes them bounce back. I still use it. I had to especially use it after coming back from some of the hair warfare I was dealing with the knots. By the way, the Righteous Hair course is still doing well. Thanks to all of you who have enrolled in that course. I will be uploading new videos within the next 2 weeks. I have 3 new videos I want to add to the library. And I'm also considering doing a live session for all of us. So keep that in mind if you're enrolled in Righteous Hair. If not, you can see it in the description. We talk about the knotted locks method, but we also talk about things that you need to know relative to Sisterlocks and Microlocks if you're on that journey and you plan on having that style for quite some time. You're going to want to keep these things in mind. Most of my locks have open ends, except those locks now that I have put knots in the bottom of the lock for various reasons. My locks typically were always open on the ends, and I liked it that way. It can weaken the lock if you're doing other things cumulatively that can add to the stress of your hair. And I've been coloring for over 10 years now. And so it finally has taken a bit of a toll on my ends. And so I'm doing some repairing kind of things now. Would it have stopped me from coloring? No. I love brightness. I love embracing my inner fire. I cannot help it. I will not stop. I won't stop. But I'm taking a pause like I was supposed to have taken last year. So this is what Vanessa said. I wished for open ends when I first got my locks installed. See, she's like me. And put conditioner on them to keep them open. She actually put conditioner on them. She said, I know, she busted out laughing. But years on, they have mostly stayed open and I love them. She's 5 years into her journey. I dye, but only ever black and just on the roots to cover gray. No issue so far, but heed the warning. Thank you, sis. You are welcome, sis. Now, the interesting thing about what Veronica is saying is she only dyes her roots. That's a thought. That's a thought. That's a great thought, to just dye your roots. When I put the color on my hair, I focus on my ends and then I go to the roots. And you guys know that's backwards. It'd be like perming the ends of your hair and doing your roots last. You know your hair would eventually break off. That's where I get the most bang for my buck though, because that was where the residual lightening from the, not necessarily bleaching, but you could call it that when you use any type of products with ammonia or whatever to go up 2 or 3 shades in lightening, it will brighten the hair, and then anything else that you put on it, especially if it's semi-permanent, is going to just latch onto it and really reflect a beautiful color. So that was something that I did. So I think it's interesting that you only did the roots and then that you were using black, which is great because black, if I'm correct, and you guys correct me in the comments, black is not requiring a lightening of the hair strand in the way that bleaching or going color shades brighter can. And so it's likely to not be as damaging to the hair. I wonder what I would look like with black locks. So that's very interesting. No issue so far, and you're 5 years in, so that is really good. Now, I would say if you look at my shots last year, a year before I got into the knots, because that's where you can really perceive the difference in the length of my hair. Sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it. But at that time, like these are all the things that you would want to know in the beginning before you dive in. That's why you got to talk to Tunisia Ali, because I'm going to give it to you like it is. Okay, because I teach this stuff. I'm qualified to teach this stuff. I've been down this path. I've been doing hair for over 30 years in addition to my hair. But this is where you want to know this stuff going in so that you know what you're dealing with. And I'm not so connected to it where there's a conflict of interest. I'm here to give you the best of all of the sides. But that is when I noticed it the most. Does it concern me? No, because my hair, especially with the products I use on my hair, is growing profusely. Does my hair necessarily reflect all of the growth? No, because the knots create, they take up so much space that you're not going to see the growth. And in certain areas, there's quite a bit of elasticity. Okay, so it bumps them up. But my hair is doing well with the color, though. I've been doing that over 10 years. I would say it's probably been 12, about 10, 11 years maybe. I wish I could give an exact account. It's been a number of years, and as such, it took my hair quite a while because my hair was very strong and fortified. I did nothing but put the premium oil, the blue spray bottle from I Am Melanin Magic. I did nothing but put this in my hair consistently after year 1. I did it a lot, and you all know I mentioned to you how I used to put it in all the way down to the ends of my hair, although I don't do it quite like that anymore. My hair doesn't, I feel, require that. I may go back into that a little bit because of some of the things that I'm trying to do with my hair. But the idea is to keep it strong and fortified up here and healthy, because what comes out of that is what is going to make the most difference. So that's very interesting. Thank you, Veronica, for sharing. Then we have, pardon me, Bob Burton. She says, I don't have color, nor do I keep my ends open, and some of my ends look like this. I've had my Sisterlocks for 3.5 years now. So this is what I would like to ask you. If you are able to respond back, I would love it. What I would like to ask Bob Burton is, were her locks installed all the way down to the end? Effrage, literally, I might have had this much hair out on a typical end. Effrage locked the entire lock. I got my money's worth. If she charged me for 7 or 11 inches, however long my hair was at the time, I got exactly what I paid for. Many of you aren't getting what you pay for. You're paying for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 inches, and then the loctician may leave some of the bottoms open. And typically for a lot of people, when you first get your install, you can't always tell how much was left open. And the reason is because your hair starts to do different things. It starts to shrink up. It starts to, get wavy, curly cues on the ends. And you can't always tell how much is loose hair. And sometimes even the hair, when it's been installed all the way down to the end, can begin to loosen up some and unravel. Okay. In other parts, it can be considered slippage. And so you can't always quite see the difference between if it was actually that way in the beginning, or is it something that's happening, say maybe because that's what your hair does, that's your coil pattern, or even maybe you haven't braided and banded or something like that. So that would be my first question, would be to wonder if your ends were installed, if they were interlocked all the way down to the end. The second question would be, even if they were, was there noticeable unraveling of your locks? Because it typically can happen just that way, and a lot of them can unravel, and if they are not repaired or tightened up, then as you move throughout your journey, they will just continue that way, and then eventually they'll do whatever it is they need to do depending on your coil pattern to kind of lock whatever locking might actually mean to you because of where you are in your journey. Also wanted to ask, conditioner and putting in things that are too oily or too softening to your hair early in your journey can cause the ends to open up as well. I'm just wondering, if you go back in your mind, Bob Burton, would you remember a time where your ends were all the way interlocked and then maybe began to unravel? Consider conditioning. Consider wetting your hair and not braiding and banding it. That could contribute to it early on, but you're 3.5 years in by now. Even though it took my hair a long time to lock, it took my hair a lifetime to lock, even though it took my hair a long time to lock. Yeah, y'all, I'm checking out these grays because, you know, they coming in. I was supposed to be working on a gray and blend to see if there was anything we could do to kind of minimize that. One minute I want to step into it, the next minute I want to minimize it. But so if you think about it, you're 3.5 years in now, which is significant. Believe it or not, though, my hair did not lock, or it did not really mature and compress until I was at year 5. But whatever's going on with your ends, that's what they're going to do, unless you go back and interlock them, which might be a consideration for you, would be to go back. Because when I would go into my hair and unravel a lock or two here and there, I had to go back, starting at the bottom, and do the pattern up fingerly with my fingers, and then go in with my craft needle and close that hole up just a little bit, but leave enough space so my hair didn't fight it. I did that with a lot of my locks, so you can always go back in. You can just braid them down to the bottom as well and put a little knot on the bottom, or just braid them all the way down to the bottom and do your curly cue, and that may be sufficient as well. It's something to think about. It really is something to think about. But definitely, so what I would say is to anyone is make sure that if you have open ends from the beginning, that is something that you wanted, or you want to make sure that your loctician definitely closes those ends up, or that you go in and close them up. My experience with these locks over almost 15 years has been whatever the pattern was I put in them. Although I know when I was going strictly Sisterlock, when I would go in and do the pattern, if I was doing the pattern not incorrectly, but I decided to not be so concerned about the direction, but I was more concerned about the number of points. The main thing I would say is your hair is growing a certain way, and when you go the opposite way, the growth is not going to be as apparent, okay, because you're forcing the hair to go a different way, but it's not going to be particularly detrimental. I have not found anything that I was able to do to my locks that caused the change to be detrimental. Even the last change that I made within the last 1.5 years, I have pivoted, and I'm still embracing that currently and watching out for change and long-term transformation with my hair, so that I can let you all know some of what you may want to prepare for if in fact you happen to be in the same boat. But as far as a pattern of interlocking or the tool used or anything like that, I don't think that has, in my experience, that does not have as much of an impact or play as much of a role as what you did to actually establish your locks in the first place, like the difference between the twisting or the palm rolling versus the interlocking or another method. So that, to me, if you're not super picky, because my locks, when I think about locks I never touched, they just look a certain way because that's just what my hair does. You know what I'm saying? That's just what my hair is going to do. And so that's just the way it is. I haven't found that to be problematic. Like, I don't go through my hair and I'm like, oh my God. Now, if I see some crazy looking knots on top of knots, I don't like that. I got to be honest. I'm really not liking it now because it was unnecessary. It could have been avoided. And when I look at the things that mattered, it wasn't the knot itself, it was how it matured when you misapply the knot, or when the method doesn't work or something like that happens. That's why I spend so much time in the course making you aware of the things you need to be mindful of and how you need to perfect it before you move forward. You need to make sure you understand it, and it needs to be simple to where it works for you every single time, unless it's something that you fail to execute. So anyway, I do appreciate the commentary from Veronica and Bob Burton about the thinning and breaking lock-ins response, your reply and my response. I love all of you. I want to thank you. If you haven't purchased my book, Manifesting Your Masterpiece, you can get this here on Amazon. If you connect with my energy and you're on that spiritual journey and you are stepping into becoming your higher version and stepping into your calling in some way, you might want to see me over on my spiritual channel, Spiritually Initiated and Crowned. I will talk to you soon. I love all of you. Thank you for all of your support. As always, I'm always out here to do those things in the interest of what is right, what is transparent, and what is aligned with my soul's focus. I will never veer from that path. I am committed to that, and I'm committed to you insofar as you are committed to that as well. Lots of love. What an amazing 2024 update of the lovely Sheila, who has been using the I Am Melanin Magic products for over 2.5 years. She looks marvelous, and so can you.